Welcome to Strategy Unlocked, where CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, executives, and veterans come together to share the real strategies behind success. This is not theory. This is lived experience, applied. From startup founders to boardroom leaders, from veterans to visionaries. If you're building, scaling, or redefining your leadership, you're in the right room. And if you're ready to reclaim your voice, sharpen your presence, or learn how to command the room, we work with you through Master Coach HQ. Strategy Unlocked is powered by Business Navigators in partnership with Veteran Coaching Network and Master Coach HQ. This is where leaders align, voices rise, and strategy is unlocked.
Welcome to Strategy Unlocked. My name is Medvegy. I'm the host today. Today, we're very lucky. We have an awesome opportunity here to sit down with Dadan.io. So what's great about Dadan.io is what they're solving. And we're going to have a great conversation with some of their leadership today. And we have Lakshmanan, who is part of their marketing team and the director and is very involved. And then we also have Khalid, who is one of the founding members. So we're going to have a great conversation today with them. We're going to talk a lot about how they unlock their strategy from marketing to hitting the market, how it was created. And we're going to get through, see how perhaps we can learn from their lessons today on how they were able to take Dadan from an ideation to a concept to implementation to the market. So we're excited. So with that said, gentlemen, if you could introduce yourselves.
Hello, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So my name is Khalid, and I'm one of the software architects of Dadan. I've been one of the founding mentors, and I've been working with the company for about 8-9 years for now.
Wow. Welcome to Strategy Unlocked.
Thank you. And I'll go next. I'm Lakshman. I head the marketing here at Dadan. I've been with the company for the past 1 year since the global release. And thank you so much, Luke. Big hi to your audience as well. You've been doing some great things. You've got a great audience, and we're pretty excited to be here and have a great conversation.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today at Strategy Unlocked. So Strategy Unlocked, the theme really is about helping folks unlock their strategy, both in business and professional. So a lot of times throughout today's Strategy Unlocked, we're going to have conversations that go back to the cusp of that. And you gentlemen have been doing exactly that. You literally took an idea, a concept, and now it's out there. It's on the market. It's on the street. So with that said, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing today. Maybe if folks are how they're working on their businesses and how they're growing it. So, marketing, in my opinion, isn't just about visibility. It's a system that proves demand, it validates your model, and ultimately gets you funded. Can you share your path or your journey on your marketing for us today?
I'd probably take that question. It's kind of like I would go on and on about marketing, or especially with the strategy we have followed at Dadan. But in short, I think every product or every team demands a kind of strategy. It depends on the kind of resources you're in. It depends on the audience whom you're targeting, and it depends on the product or the solution which you're selling as well. Specifically for Dadan, we've taken two approaches. I call them the sustainability and scalability model. So you need to have one set of strategy which will help you to sustain in the short term. Now, this would involve things like paid ads, influencer marketing and stuff. Whatever you're doing here, the shelf life is going to be low. You pay, you sort of receive returns, but this is what that will keep you alive in the short term. And then you have to use this time to build something which is the scalable model, which would be the organic marketing which we do with content, with SEO, and today there is AEO as well, which is also into picture, and building more partnerships like what we are doing here with the Veteran Coaching Network and many other communities to get the word out. So those are the two primary approaches we have taken into picture, and that is what that has given us some success over the last 1 year as well.
No, that's amazing. When this came out and you were involved, what were you solving? Like, what was the creation? What was in the back of the mind? You're like, we have this problem we want to solve. Can you share that with us and help share, some of the insights that led to where we are today with Dadan?
Definitely. The initial issue is really we started with Link Solutions, which is the parent company. and it had it's basically a system integrator and a service integrator company with lots of clients who would have a problem trying to go through documentations and approve them and whatnot, and they'd prefer to go into meetings. And then they would give us all sorts of requirements that we would actually need to kind of go through again and kind of trying to collect it. Well, we needed more power over the video. We needed the document to, instead of being a Word document, we needed it to be the video. And we were looking around and we have some of the products that does that, but it didn't really give us the wide control over the kind of things that we wanted to do. And then COVID hit, and the whole thing just multiplied by 10 because everything became a virtual meeting, and we kind of struggled to kind of get everything kind of into order. And this is where kind of Dadan started. We wanted to have Dadan to record the meetings, and we wanted to apply as kind of as many utilities to the video to become a live document that we could actually use for our projects.
That's pretty amazing. So in that journey, and you created your roadmap, are you at still the beginning, the middle, or the end? Like, are you done? Like, is this where you want to be? Or solution you have, a continuous evolution? Because there's new technology out there, AI and all these other things. I'm just curious if you could share that with our viewers about from the entrepreneurship to the ideation to, hey, is this an MVP or an MSP type of thing to, hey, are we good?
Oh no, definitely we're not done. So obviously, as you've said, AI has been one of the most impressive innovations into the market, and we've integrated this heavily into Dadan. And from where I see it, it is really kind of stage one of our long journey to the deep phase of the journey of Dadan. So the idea is really at the moment, I think this is where we get to a point where we can present Dadan to a paying customer. But really, the way that we're moving is that we want Dadan to become more, not just by integrating more AI and adding more facilities, but really kind of providing kind of better value, not just in terms of cost, not just in terms of kind of the utilities and features, but also in terms of what business templates that it actually could help. For example, for marketing, for technical support and whatnot, we're trying to kind of create templates and compartments. Like this is kind of the line of Dadan to become kind of a solution dedicated for that market specifically. For
the viewers, I'd like them to know that I'm not getting paid by Dadan for doing this. And I also want them to know that I am a user. I use it for my teams. Dadan.io is their webpage, and not only do I use it for my teams, it helps us between our meetings. Helps us kind of, I like to say, sometimes you have to step between the raindrops because everyone's so busy in these schedules today. So we host these meetings, and then there's things that are left over. We like to use Dadan so we can help communicate between our team because they're busy, and we have to balance life and work. So Dadan has become a replacement for, hey, can you pick up the phone or talk right now? So I think that's just an important context I'm going to share with the viewers. Can you share some other great use cases for Dadan that maybe I'm not mentioning here?
I guess maybe Lakshmanan has been involved a bit more with some of the customers. I don't know if
from both of you.
If you've got maybe the ones that I have might be a bit more boring, but maybe you've come across one of those interesting cases then.
So, we have spoken to at least about 1,200 plus customers at this point of time, and out of which about 270 odd has been like one-on-one calls. We meet them, we talk to them directly, and this happened in the first 6 to 8 months last year. They were teaching us multiple things. With every user whom we interact with, they were showing us new use cases. You wouldn't believe, like a couple of days back, I saw someone who was running a private physiology clinic from Australia. She signed up and she paid. And when I was looking up to this user, I thought, wait, what would a physiology, like a doctor, how would they be using a video solution? So I just emailed him. I told him like, hey, I'm from the marketing team. I would like to know how exactly are you using it. I said, oh yeah, we saw there is a feature where you can request a video from customer. So we are using it to create customer stories. We send them the video link. We get 20-minute stories and we use them on our social. So that's how we are using it.
Wait a minute here. This sounds like a strategy unlocked moment. So what you're telling me here is folks could take to Dan, I could send them a link, they could record like a quick video, hey, this is great, or this is a use, and then I could get that back and use that for marketing, or use that for, communication back and forth between my client and myself.
Exactly.
But only one of us needs a license.
Yep. And they don't even have to create an account on that, and they can just click on the link. It opens up on their browser. You can even send them the script, the context of the video, how do you want the video to be, etc. And they can just record from their mobile or from their laptop, and they can just send it back to you.
That is pretty amazing. I think folks should listen to that right there. This is like a great opportunity where you could capture your audience's vision or message, whether good or bad, but you capture it, and then helps you streamline and unlock your strategy in your business. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great one.
The beautiful part about this is, this is just one feature where we talk about collecting testimonials. There is a professor who uses the same feature in order to collect questions from his students once the lecture is done. And there is another person who uses this to get feedback from, customer issues. If they can't understand the customer's issue, they just send a link, like, send me what the issue is, I'll go through it and give a response. So even if you take a single feature, we could see multiple use cases from the users, and that's been the most beautiful part.
So you're saying that a university professor could send a link out to their students, or a QR code or whatever to their students, and then they can respond, hey, this is my feedback from the course today, or hey, this is my thoughts on taking your strategy or whatever you're teaching to the next level, or it becomes a two-way feedback mechanism. I love that. I love that. That's great. That is, and you know what? As much as I've been using Dan, I haven't exercised that feature, which is telling me that there's so many more features. So on your roadmap of your use cases, and as you're building it, like where are you in implementation? What are some other great use cases that are on this roadmap that's going to like everyone?
Okay, I'll just make it a little, I'm sure Khaled is going to hate me for promising a lot of stuff but right now, but we have this theory where we call it build based on request. Instead of building what we think that the users will love, we have a private community called the Dan Insider on Facebook, where we actively listen to folks like, what should we build next? And like I said, we are always open to connect one-on-one with all our users at any point of time, listen to whatever feedback they have, and we again float it out on public. Hey, they got like all these 4 features have been suggested, what do you think should go first? And what happens here is, whenever we release a feature, we don't have to wait to get it validated. It's already pre-validated before we launch, and we just know there's a market for it already. So that's been the style we built the roadmap as well.
So this is how you unlock your Dan strategy, because you're getting real-time feedback that people pay a lot of money for. And you're getting it, like you're extracting that from creating a group, and where folks, you're building trust, so folks have the ability to feed you that right up front. So it's therefore people are commenting. You can almost do a poll right there. Hey, we're looking to cycle this. Hey, what's your thought? And then you could go live, and that saves time, that saves money, it saves resources, and quite honestly, you're building a following, which is pretty cool. I like that.
It's at the end of the day. Sorry, I was just going to say at the end of the day, it's about like you exactly mentioned. It's about building the trust with the first group of users, because they're the ones who are going to help you, bring in more users. So, yeah.
No, I think that's pretty amazing. Khaled, from where did Dan started to where it is today, and to where the future vision is, can you share some of that journey and your thoughts on that, so we can have a greater understanding?
So I think from my perspective, I'll probably be leaning a little bit more into first of all, the technical journey of the Dan, all the way to the actual product that you can see how it can be used by many people. And kind of like, I guess, from where we started, it was really kind of a learning experience, truly a very rich learning experience, because you start with kind of technical challenges that would start with the product, because you've got basically the other founders who came up with the idea, and they want to kind of address it, and kind of adding all of this into a new kind of method that you don't necessarily you think you would understand, but once you start to kind of build on it, you realize there's a lot more to learn. And then kind of moving forward, you building this kind of product into something that people are actually using, and you start to kind of understand how this usage is going to grow, or at least you expect it to grow in a certain direction. And just maybe Lakshmanan said that the user feedback was probably the most important part, the most important lesson to us, because we failed at certain early on in the product. We failed to notice users' demand on certain features or certain kind of scenarios, and we've adapted and learned quickly to kind of eventually come up with this strategy of collecting all of that feedback. And moving forward, I guess that this is where we continue doing so. And as I said, like, trying to offer more specialized features for certain markets, where it would actually be getting people's not only usage to increase, but also their feedback for us to grow.
No, I love that. What you're also stressing is adaptability. You're stressing your ability to adjust your strategy, what we call exercise agility, which is, I think, key and fundamental to startups. Because if folks who don't do that, it's like, hey, they go bankrupt. Folks who have the ability to stay agile, and the companies that can stay agile, it gives them the ability to be flexible with their market. And actually, because you're listening to customers, you're listening to their demand, it helps retain that followership, but more importantly, that they become like micro ambassadors. I think I am one today, right? So they become like these micro ambassadors, and they have, hey, what are you using? Hey, check this out. So I think you're exercising that perfectly. It's funny because in college or in different degrees or whatever is out there, they talk about it, but you're doing it. And I think that's what separates you from different competition. When companies become so big, they become more rigid, less agile. But you guys have the ability to be agile up front, what allows you to separate yourself from any of your competition. I think is pretty amazing. So with that said, I do have a couple of questions on marketing. So a marketing, what I understand, could be very costly. And again, we talked about being agile, being adaptive, and I want to be clear. So where did I find Dadan from? So I found Dadan from AppSumo. And AppSumo has been really good with bringing on folks or companies that are startups or pre-seed and helping them launch. And AppSumo's created a very good base and has allowed companies and stakeholders and customers, so B2B or B2C, to have these conversations, which actually makes them become a little more grow better, in my opinion. Helps them have that real life feedback that you would pay, but you're getting it for free. So I think that's phenomenal aspect of AppSumo. So if anyone's looking to launch something with AppSumo, hey, I tell you to do it. But with that said, what got you on AppSumo? What started your journey from the aspect of not only am I on AppSumo, but how else are you doing your customer lead journey? It would be beneficial if you can share that, please.
So firstly, with respect to the AppSumo question, you're absolutely right. A wonderful place to be for early stage startups to launch, get some quick traction and initial feedback. We were at a stage where we've had the first 10, 15,000 users by the time we got this message from AppSumo asking us, hey, do you guys want to launch here? And it was kind of odd because I don't think there were any products listed on AppSumo from Saudi Arabia before that. So everything was new, even for them, with all these setups, transactions, everything was like new for all of us to learn. But overall, we just got a message asking if you would help. And I was personally aware of AppSumo. I've been in touch with them for the last 5 years or so. So I was pretty aware of the community. Our major goal or the major output which we expected from the AppSumo engagement was to get solid user feedback. If you look at a screen recording product in 2025, which is last year, we couldn't be selling a screen recording product. There are 1,000 other tools which are like screen recorders. So we want to know where we should start developing or which direction should we be heading to. So we wanted solid feedback from the community who would use the product extensively, give us like multiple use cases, and so we could have a direction in terms of how the product should be growing. And that is what that exactly happened. From the day we launched, we focused on talking to customers as soon as possible. We asked them, why did you switch? What is the one feature you would pay for, and what is the one mistake which we can do that will make you cancel the subscription or make you regret this purchase. So these are some of the fundamental questions we kept asking repeatedly, and that's how we also kept building the product in parallel as well. And something which I've seen companies make a mistake, or people who are watching this as well, just a feedback would be, when you start acquiring users in huge volume, you would start getting a lot of bugs to fix as well. It is critical that you manage your bug fixes as well as product updates in parallel. Otherwise, you'll have 3 months of bug fixes and no features released. We managed to launch about 55 new updates in a span of like 27 days. Almost Khaled, the entire team was like shipping day night crazy. So it was like we were pretty adamant that we want to ship as soon as possible with every new feature that's coming in, and we want to get quick feedback. So that's how the journey started with AppSumo. Now, outside AppSumo, we had the organic acquisition, which was always going. There were some paid media investment as well, slightly 20%. The most surprising area of acquisition which picked up for us, at least over the last quarter, was through AI. Dedan has been getting a lot of AI citations, and it quickly became the third highest channel for our acquisition. That's like free signups. Like people search on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, it recommends Dedan, and then they just sign up. So that is currently our third highest acquisition channel, and I hope it just goes to the second or first soon.
That's pretty amazing. One of the great things about Dedan also is you guys have such a great integration. It's pretty insane. I mean, everything from MailChimp to Go High Level, the Active Campaign, Google Calendar, Google Campaign, Microsoft Dynamics, Trello, Google Mail, Google Meet, YouTube, HubSpot, Shopify, Azure, Outlook, Asana, Zendesk, Calendly, Dropbox, LinkedIn, Jira, GitHub, and more. Because I know, I can link, I think, Pavel and other things with it. So I mean, I have a CRM on that list, but I can link something else to kick it to my CRM. So I think it's pretty amazing, and I think that's pretty useful. I have to ask why I have you here, though. There's a couple questions I have. In a lot of folks out there starting businesses, and they're trying to figure out how to unlock their strategy. And you said you started this with 10 to 15,000, then you went to AppSumo, which is pretty amazing, by the way. And so I would say you're a unicorn in the space of AppSumo. A lot of folks are maybe have 5,000 to go to AppSumo. You were 3 times. So my question is, when you started, and there's really a cost to acquire customers, can you share how that journey went, and maybe share something in that journey that can help our viewers and when they're starting some of their own businesses?
Okay. Firstly, if you have the budget, go ahead and spend it. I don't have to be an advocate on how to spend money and acquire customers. You can do social media ads, you can do Google ads, and you can just start acquiring customers if you have done it right. You don't need someone like me sitting and telling you all that. But let's say if you have limited budget, if you're limited and you have to look at other sources, something which helped us primarily were a couple of things. One, different communities. There are n number of communities which has come up today. Early on, we used to rely on specific communities, like Product Hunt, for example, is where everyone would go, they would launch their product, get initial traction, and then it would die after a month. But today, thanks to AI, there are n number of AI communities, and people have started becoming, there is a huge rise in terms of early adopters for new products as well. So you need to have one feature which would trigger them to try your product. And for us, it was pretty simple. Hey, your video recordings looks like this, and ours look like this, with a call to action, with a form. And we don't measure on views, we measure on the lead it generates. And people are they're already creating videos, and now they just have to move here and they can just start collecting leads. Okay, sign me up. So we just went into a lot of these communities, and some of them also allow you to pay a small amount to promote it to other folks. The cost is significantly less in all these communities. And then we also focused on a few forums as well. So Reddit has been a strong channel for us right from day one. We've been focusing a lot of Reddit engagement, and which a year down the line helped us with all the AI recommendations too. Because AI citations with Reddit. Yeah.
So I understand Reddit, but can you explain it what Reddit really is for our customer audience? Because I don't think everyone's heard of Reddit. Although I've heard of Reddit, but not a lot of people have. Because people have heard of like Facebook and LinkedIn, all these other things. But Reddit is actually a really good site that I think a lot of people miss when it comes to marketing. Can you help bridge that?
Simple terms, I would call Reddit, an online community. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Imagine anything you want to do. Like you want to do podcasts, you want to talk about microphones, you want to talk about glasses. There is a community for that. There is a bunch of people who love talking about this, and like Khaled and me, we share the bit of nerdiness between us, and we get eventually users of Reddit at the end of the day. So we can just get into Reddit, find a community which you are interested in. This can be your personal choice, this can be the business, this can be like for us, for example, we focused on communities like learning and development. Small tubers, there is a channel called Small Tubers where small YouTubers are a part of the community, which is another thing. Screen recording is another community. And so we were just a part of this community, and you shouldn't be promoting explicitly your product. That's not the place, it's a community. So you should have like proper conversations, and people are open if you're genuinely adding value, and if that value includes your product recommendation as well. So that's how I would picture it. So if there is a conversation, go ahead, participate in it. If it involves recommending your product, if it involves recommending your competition's product, do it. Just be genuine, and you would have very good engagement from Reddit organically.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. Let me ask another question, and this really gets to, in my opinion, what I call like differentiation and positioning. When folks are looking at their products and they're thinking, how do I create a differentiation, and how do I position my product? So this really gets to maybe both of you, because Khaled, you were there kind of in the beginning. So when you guys came up and you looked at this from a crowded market, and you're trying to think of, why do customers choose Dadan? At the end of the day, when you came up with the ideation or the implementation in the beginning, what was that?
Right. So I probably will have one thing to say, which is control over your content. This is kind of the very first impulse that we had. And this is precisely where I think a lot of the features that we've developed was more about, I have this video and I want control over how it can help me. I don't want somebody to kind of, store my video and for others to watch it. I want this video to offer me this particular value. I want this video to give me, or to kind of be viewed in a certain way, or, kind of directed to certain users if I could. And this is kind of, the control over your content, the way that it could actually help you do your job, is really kind of where it started. And kind of, as I said, it was a very personal experience. That's where I guess a lot of the things that we've worked with Dadan, kind of it took their root in this very principle. But I guess kind of it evolved later on, kind of take on more of trying to also learn from our competitors what things are doing well, because it's not just kind of serving our own use cases, but also trying to understand the customer and how basically a given product has made it out there, or is known or well known for a particular feature. And every time we've looked at our competitors and we thought we could do better, and we could actually offer more control to the user. We could make it work in more scenarios than whatever the other competitors does, and we do that.
That's awesome. Speaking of competitors, can you articulate some of the competitors, or maybe multiple competitors, that maybe Dadan is potentially replacing out there?
I'll take this one up. For us, the primary one has been Loom. Loom is a great product, of course, but since the acquisition over at Lazine, we've had a lot of people who have been switching from Loom. You could also see it in a lot of testimonials as well. At the end of the day, the complex pricing is not helping at the moment, but it's understandable because they have matured into a huge market right now, and they're focusing on different levels. And for us, Loom has been the primary one. But here's what I tell people: We've had people who say that, oh, you have replaced my meeting recorder. Now this can be Otter, Fireflies, Crisp, whatever that is. Some people say I'm migrating from Vimeo, which is a video hosting service, to Dedan because now I can host my videos, record it, and then do all these interactive things on top of it. So yeah, I'm moving from Vimeo. If you put all these three things together, like a recorder, meeting recorder, note taker, and then an online video editor, of course, but it's still evolving, so I'm not pitching it right now. And then the interactive part, I don't think there is anyone in the market who is yet to solve all these three things together at this moment. But yeah, if you want to call out one person, I would say it's Loom, from whom we've been acquiring a lot of customers so far, and a few other screen recorders as well.
I think it's amazing. I do have capital questions, but we'll get to that in a minute. So because we're talking about some of your features, and I know that I've asked before about this, I'm going to ask it again. And it's okay if there's no solution for it, but this goes to that feedback. So this is a question that comes to my mind. So you talk about replacement, and I love Dedan, so I absolutely use it. But I use another tool for my signature block in my email. Have you guys come up with a replacement of that yet? Or is that something on the roadmap? Or is it something that, because I love how you can do the feedback back and forth. How cool would that be? I do, hey, I'm the CEO of this, or I'm the podcaster of this, and then click, and then give me feedback. Hey, I don't like your podcast, or I love your podcast, they're awesome. But the point is that a feature that's on the roadmap?
To be honest, I talk to Khaled or anyone from the founding team about whenever someone shares a feature request, I just take it to them. Hey guys, this sounds pretty cool, and they say, oh yeah, let's add it to the list. And the idea is let's try and build every feature which people ask for. Like, why can't we do that? But the important thing is about priorities at the end of the day. What are you planning to release next, which is solving the fundamental issue, which is between recording, editing, and sharing videos. I think once that is covered, I'm pretty sure we are going to extend the horizon to other areas, which includes the signature part as well.
I speak to a lot of CEOs, and I'm going to tell you, because I do have that from another service, but they love it. So if you integrate that, I think that it just helps, me and anyone else. You're an ambassador in their email box, right there in the email box. That's, for what it's worth. I think it's a strategy unlock moment, because I think once you add it, I think that's almost like free marketing right there. It's going to be like right there in everyone's email box. So everyone you talk to on every day, some people do 200, 300, 400 emails a day. Well, that's 200, 300, 400 people who automatically get a chance to see Dedan that never would have had a chance, just whatever it's worth. That's the Medvegy strategy unlock moment. Okay. I know we're wrapping towards the end here, but I really should wrap this up with a couple more finite questions. So for folks who are starting up and who are trying to raise capital for their businesses, and marketing is often an investment, go first. This is like the chicken or the egg conversation. How can you share the journey from either one of you who maybe seen us from the beginning, who, for another entrepreneur or folks out there who are trying to take this ideation to bring it to market, can you help share some key insights that can help them maybe when they're out there trying to look for folks to help invest in their strategy or their business? It'd be really helpful.
I think I want to hear this from Khaled as well. Like, Khaled, what would you advise for someone who's building a product? How would they approach? Should they build all the features at once? One feature, if it is one feature, how should they pick it? I'm taking notes, by the way. Go ahead.
So I guess from my perspective, I have basically affected and kind of contributed to some of the features, and obviously the rest of the founders and the rest of the development team also had their input. And for somebody to start with the features, to start basically with the product, I think the very first thing to have is, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but a bit of a passion to the problem that you're solving. So it is, I know it is a cliche, but I know I wouldn't normally spend my time 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning trying to read up on a problem. Not normally, unless I'm really passionate about it. And this is kind of one of the things that I'm not sure how much of it actually contributed to the initial success and kind of building blocks of Dedan. But that was the case for me, and that was the case for Najib, that was the case for other members of the founding team, where basically one time we've had a problem with the payment provider, and we've kind of spent about 3 to 4 months trying to fix it. And that was basically the initial bits of it. So for somebody who's going to get into this, it's not going to be easy. But the fact is that if you solve a problem, something that you're passionate about, something you feel that is going to help you personally first, or help somebody who's you're working with, then it will turn out much better, at least from usability point of view, than probably vast majority of the products out there in the market.
So you're talking about a passion where literally you're sleeping, you're waking up, you're taking notes, and you're like, all I can think is this. So it's a passion project. What you're really doing is you're solving other people's problems. They didn't even know that they were till they needed it, it's a pretty big deal. I love that. So when you build the passion project and you go on that journey, do you find you build a team of folks who are thinking that is just as passionate, or are you the one leading the march in some of this?
So I think it depends on how much you're able to lead the team to actually work with it. Obviously, having like-minded people on your team would help. But the idea is, if you're able to lead them and kind of instill some of that kind of passion to resolving the problem, or resolving the fundamental problem that this product is aimed at, then you've already won. That's at least my own perspective. The main bit that I want to kind of emphasize on is that you have to make sure that if you're working on it, at least this is my experience, that you are solving a problem that you can verify. I'm not solving a problem that is maybe with somebody who I think might have the problem. No, I can see the problem. I can see how my product is affecting once it's implemented, it's affecting the resolution of this problem, and it's helping the people who are using the product.
So this is a great point. So when you're in this journey and you're thinking through this, how was this presented to angel investors, or how was this presented to folks, to the parent company? Hey, I want you to back me on this. How would a person who is struggling, or maybe trying to figure out how to launch a venture like you guys are successfully, may I add, how would they be able to, can you share some key insights to help them maybe?
So while I've been involved with the pitch to the parent company, I haven't really been involved with the investors. But the way that I've presented it as part of the team that we've had was, well, we have a problem, and if we're not going to be able to resolve it, we're going to have to hire a lot more people. So I've started with the kind of monetary impact on the company, and then I told them, how cool would it be if I know people in that company that have this problem. How cool would it be if I can resolve this problem for you? So you're having a problem, kind of making sure that all the meetings that you've had are transcribed, and you're able to search for them and kind of present them in a way that would make it easy for you to kind of spend 5 minutes instead of 2 or 3 hours sorting all of that out. How cool would that be if I can resolve it for you? And this is kind of where that conversation starts.
I love it. What you're saying is not only have a real valid need, but make sure everyone can have the same vision, really, right? So everyone sees wow, this is something, it's not only worthy to put money into, but it's something worthy to solve. I think that's absolutely pertinent. And I think also from a customer and entrepreneur journey, if you're the only one that sees the problem, it may be a problem for you. So before you put a lot of money into it, you should probably do more segmentation, maybe get on Reddit, maybe create your own Facebook group, and maybe bring in more solicitation. So maybe you can see, hey, shape and be agile in solving this problem. So maybe yet you see as a problem from here, but you may realize more people you bring in, it could be a problem from here. And then so what you started with is something so small could be a Dadan of the future, something much larger and greater. So I love that. Gentlemen, I really appreciate your time today on Strategy Unlocked. And yes, we can probably talk for multiple more hours. I want to give Lakshman an opportunity to share and talk through the page real quickly. So one moment. Here we go.
Oh, I have to love this. Let me just get started. Yep.
Can you see?
Big hi. Yep.
Okay, go ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're interested in Dadan, go to dadan.io. It's an amazing platform. Lakshman, if you want to just talk quick second, I have your webpage up in the front.
Thank you. Thanks, look. A big hi to all the audience from Veteran Coaching Network. This is Dadan.io. Now, all of you would be creating videos, and Dadan is kind of changing the workflow and making it worthwhile when you create a video. It's an online video creation platform that integrates recording your videos, recording your meetings, creating transcripts, taking notes for you, and then giving you an online video editor to edit all the videos which you have created, remove silences, fillers using AI, turn those videos into short form clips like this podcast which we are doing could be turned into multiple clips with Dadan. And then the best part is when you distribute the video, you can add interactive elements on top of your video like forms, polls, quizzes, which means when people watch your video, they can interact with it. You can get real-time feedback of your video. And if you're a marketer, salesperson, coach who's creating videos for marketing purposes, then you can attach a form or a call to action button on top of your video, which would allow people to reach to you if they are interested in your pitch or the services you offer. So please do check it out at dadan.io and let us know what you think about it.
That's pretty amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, there's some great options on their page. You can even try it out for free if you wish. You could go to the Veteran Coaching Network and you could say, hey, I love Dadan. And then you can even get like a 2-month trial there as well. But this is a pretty amazing tool, which we use across our ecosystem for collaboration and for call to actions and for driving viewership. So check it out. Go to dadan.io. They have an awesome integrations in their library, and they have over 40,000 different viewers. It's of course GDRP compliant. You can even chat with them firsthand. I will also tell you that as you purchase Dadan.io, even though they're so big and they support so many, if you have questions, you want to sit down with one of these top experts, they will plug some time away for you and they will help you in your journey of setting up and understanding and developing your own Dadan for your business today. So thank you for listening to Dadan and for listening to our great folks here today from Dadan and participating in Dadan Strategy Unlocked. Please don't forget to check out Strategy Unlocked, our podcast on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. And also, please don't forget to check out Dadan.io. It's an amazing organization that's partnering and supporting the Veteran Coaching Network. Again, we're not being paid for this message. We are literally sharing something that is absolutely amazing that can help you 10x your marketing and business strategy today. Don't wait. It's cheaper than any of its other potential like loons out there, and it's more action-packed and value-based and to help you 10x your company today. So please check out Dadan.io. Thank you for participating and being here today, gentlemen. I look forward to talking to you in the future. Don't hang up.
Cheers.
Just stop recording.
There's a moment right before the lights come on, when preparation meets opportunity, when your voice finally matters. This is where leaders stop sitting in the audience and start commanding the room. Veterans, founders, executives, people who've done the work and are ready to be heard. No hype, no noise, just clarity, confidence, and execution. If you're ready to step on stage, own the moment, and unlock what's next. Welcome to Strategy Unlocked. Command the room.
Powered by the Master Coach Headquarters and the Business Navigators.